Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to our community meeting this evening. It's good to see such a great crowd out here as we get started. I do want to recognize some folks. We have a great translator here tonight. She's raised her hand, Sylvia Castaneda. Sylvia, thank you for being here tonight. Anybody needs translation services, she can certainly help out. I'd also like to recognize any, just raise your hand, any students and parents in the group tonight that have come out to listen to the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. And after all, this is what this conversation is about. That's the most important thing we have, to work with our students and support our parents and students in this process. Also like to recognize any staff members from Nash County Schools who might be here tonight. They can just raise their hand. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. And also I'd just like to recognize any of our elected officials in the group tonight, the elected officials. I see a number of our board members from Edgecombe County Public Schools. And finally, I'd like to recognize our staff that's been here working so hard on the merger and the plan. Any of our staff members from Edgecombe County Public Schools who are here that support the plan. Thank you for setting everything up tonight. And all your hard work on that. In most meetings, I like to start off with some good news. And just like to recognize tonight, obviously, as superintendent, I'm very proud of Edgecombe County Public Schools. I've only been there since September 1st, but it's been a great transition and great people to work with. And I'm very proud of our schools. And one of the things I'd just like to share with folks is when the last accountability results came out, 11 of our 14 schools in Edgecombe County Public Schools met or exceeded growth. And also, our school district exited low performing status, which is critically important across the state. Yes. So, due to a lot of hard work from our students, staff, parents, and community, because as we all know, it takes everyone working together to make it happen in schools, and it's critically important, and that's why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to talk about important things to help us transition for the merger that's coming up in August of 2024. One other thing I'd like to remind, particularly staff members of tonight who are here from Nash County Schools, our human resources group is in the back. Anybody who wants to, whether you're with Nash County Schools or anyone else who might want to apply, you can go straight back there and inquire about any positions that we have and anything that you might be interested in Edgecombe County Public Schools. So, just to frame tonight, so everybody has an idea of what we're looking at, a brief welcome, which I'm talking about, give you a little bit of a history on the merger and information regarding that and how we got here tonight. The Senate Bill 248, plan of transfer information, that we've had to put together a plan to make this merger work, and then questions and answers. And then we're going to shift the conversation. If anybody was at the last community meeting that I was involved with, and we were involved with, we talked about all the logistics involved in the plan and how important that is. And it is. But as I said a little bit earlier, the most important thing is how we're going to better serve our students and our parents and community. And we want to dig deeper into that tonight at the end of our meeting so you can have input and begin to develop that partnership to make sure our schools are serving our students to the best of their ability. And that's critically important. So I invite you to stay around for that, because I think in many ways that's the most important part of our conversation tonight as we move forward. As I said before, these are a few of the many folks who've worked on our merger process. This is the core team that's been leading this, and they've done an outstanding job. They're all around the room tonight, so I want to thank them for their efforts in what they have done. Also, just want to talk a little bit about the expectations for tonight. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance to ask their questions, make comments, share anything they want to share tonight. We will stay here until we need to stay here to make sure we do that for folks. These are some of the expectations. I'm gonna boil it down to a really simple idea, that we just treat each other with respect tonight as we ask questions and make comments, and we'll have a great evening of exchanging ideas to make sure that we're moving forward. And as I said before, we're really trying to shift the conversation tonight to the educational opportunities we can offer for our students. Last week, I had the first of a group of parent advisory meetings with some parents from the community, and they shared some really important things, I think, about how we move forward, concerns they have, things they want for their children, and it was really informative for us to start that process. So if you're a parent and want to be part of something with that, we'll have more parent advisory meetings coming up in the near future, and we'd love to be part of that. We will also be putting together some staff advisory groups from the staffs in each of the 4 schools. And also I'm going to be talking with students as well. I want to hear about their experiences in each of our schools and how we can make that better for them. Because I think that student experience and what they have to share is really important. And they're going to tell you the absolute truth about what they experience. And so we're excited about that. So as we move on to the second part of our agenda, I'd like to invite Mr. Eric Evans, County Manager, Edgecombe County Public Schools, to come forward, talk a little bit about the history of this, the merger, and how we got here. He's a great county manager and has done outstanding things for our community. So I will turn it over to Eric Evans. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to be here tonight. I'm grateful to get the opportunity to certainly work with Dr. Bryan and his team, this wonderful school board, on a daily basis, but very fortunate to be able to work together with this wonderful team in this transition process. Also, along with the Nash County Superintendent, his team and board, thank you, Dr. Washington, for being here tonight from Nash County School Board. So I wanted to share a little bit from tonight from the perspective of Edgecombe County, our involvement from somewhat of the history of the beginning of how we got here tonight, our role in this now, and how we work together with the school system to move forward to make this transition as smooth as possible. As you all know, back in the early 90s, there was a change in the structure of our school system in both the counties. We had city schools, both here in Rocky Mount and Tarboro, that were consolidated to Nash County Schools and to Edgecombe County Schools. And so as you see on this map here, it shows that there are school districts right here in Rocky Mount that cross that county line. It used to be referred to as Nash Rocky Mount Schools, now Nash County Schools. And come the fall of next year, those school districts are going to move to the county line. That's why this is referred to as the county line merger. But this conversation and how we got here, it actually started a few years ago. So back in 2015, we started having some conversation and some meetings with both school boards, both boards of commissioners, to talk about the structure as it has been. One of the questions that was raised that really brought us to the table was whether or not we, Edgecombe County, have been paying our proportionate share of funding for our students who live in Edgecombe County but attend Nash Rocky Mount Schools. And so we had several meetings about that, and some of you may have been in some of those meetings or at least heard of those meetings. One of the things we were able to clarify quickly was that, yes, we were paying our proportionate share based on the number of students. But that just led to other discussions. At that time, there was discussion, there was somewhat of a push to move to a county line merger then in 2015. At the time, our board and both school boards didn't feel like that was the best thing to do. We felt like it would be just too disruptive to the students, and we worked together really to try to stop that. And we did stop it. So it didn't happen back in 2015 when there was a push for it to happen. What did happen was what we refer to Senate Bill 382, which is Session Law 2016, 2016-14. A new state law was passed in 2016 that said a few different things. One of the things that it said was, first of all, the name of the school district had to change. And so, as I mentioned, it used to be Nash Rocky Mountain Schools, now it's Nash County School District. Another thing in that bill, among other things, it said that Rocky Mount could no longer contribute what we call the gap funding, that is the difference in the per pupil allocation. So basically, counties are responsible to provide two types of funding to school systems. It's what they call current expense. That's basically operating funds. That's used to help for day-to-day operations. It's also used to pay the local supplement and some other things. The other type of funding that we provide is for capital, whether that be just annual, ongoing work and repair to buildings, building new schools, additions to new schools, financing, all of that. Now, as I'm sure you understand that Nash County has a much greater tax base than Edgecombe County. That's not a negative statement, it is what it is, okay? And because of that, Nash County can afford to put more money into the school system. And so what we have been doing for years is making a calculation of, based on what Nash puts in for their students, what we put in for ours, we do a per student calculation. And there's a difference between what Nash County is able to put in and what Edgecombe County is able to put in. And what has been happening since the early 90s until this Senate Bill 382, the city of Rocky Mount used to pay that difference. That difference would fluctuate from year to year. It depended on how much Nash put in, how much Edgecombe put in, how many students from each of the counties into the school district. That number would fluctuate anywhere from around $400,000 a year to as much as over $700,000 a year. That was called the gap funding. Rocky Mount used to pay that gap. Senate Bill 382 said that Rocky Mount could no longer do that, so Edgecombe County had to take on that responsibility. Now, we certainly were going to abide by a state law, but it put us into a very precarious position because now we are making a greater per student allocation for those 1,600 or 1,700 students that are going to Nash County schools than we are to the students going in Edgecombe County schools. So that was the first thing we said, that's tough for us to live with. The other thing that it said, if you could go back to the previous slide, the other thing that it said, it requires us to pay our proportionate share of capital costs regardless of where that money was to be spent. For example, I'm very happy that Nash County Schools and Nash County are able to build a new elementary school in Red Oak. I believe this first year open. Beautiful school, very happy for that. We had to pay our proportionate share. Usually it was around 11 or 12%, depending on the number of students. The problem, we're glad for Nash County Schools to be able to do that. The problem for us was that we had few to no students to go to that elementary school, but yet we had to pay our proportionate share. And, so though back in 2015, early 2016, our board was pushing against county line or school merger, our board had to reconsider and said, now our board said we don't feel like we can live with this long term, so let's reconsider. So just being transparent, it wasn't a unanimous vote from our board, but the majority of our board decided we need to do something different. So we need to now move towards a county line merger. Now that bill right there said that if Edgecombe County at any point contributed less than our proportionate share, it would immediately trigger a county line merger. Our board decided, the majority of the board decided, we want to trigger a county line merger. So we have been moving in this direction for a couple of years anyway. But then a new Senate act or a new legislative action came about just here recently, and that is Senate Bill 248. Now, Senate Bill 248, of a few things, says that county line merger is going to happen anyway. regardless of what kind of funding Edgecombe County sends to Nash County. So it is by state law a done deal. It says in that statute that this is going to happen, it has to happen by the fall of next year. It says that we have to put together a transition plan that has to be submitted to the State Board of Education by November 15th, which a lot of people in this room, including myself, have been working on that for the last several months. So I say that, and I want to pause just for that to sink in for a moment, because I know still at this point that there are people, you feel like this shouldn't happen. Why are you doing this? And I just want to say, regardless of how we might feel about it, anybody might feel about it, it is state law. So it's going to happen. So and this is just my personal and my professional opinion, is that I think our energy is now better spent in making this transition as smooth as possible and as best as possible for students in both school districts, and for the teachers and for the parents. And that's why wonderful people here in this room, including folks from Nash County Schools, have been working hard, very hard, and working very well together in making this transition as smooth as possible. So that's sort of the history of it and how we've gotten to this point. Now, I want this group to know, and we've been making this point in every meeting that we've had, is that Edgecombe County, our Board of Commissioners, we have been always committed to the students who are Edgecombe County residents but go to Nash County Schools. And we will continue to be committed to help provide and invest in the best education that we possibly can. This table here just shows the amount of funding that Edgecombe County has been allocating for the students that live in Edgecombe County but have up to next year, going to Nash County Schools. You can see it's no small figure. You'll see that gap right there, the third column, as of 2021, that's blank because now that is no longer provided by the city of Rocky Mount. We now pay that as a part of our total current expense column. So we've been spending millions of dollars on behalf of our students that go to Nash County Schools. We will continue with that investment and making that commitment throughout this process and moving into the future. Just a couple of highlights, other highlights to talk about our commitment to the future of our students. We are very happy to provide some additional funding in our budget this current year to increase the local supplement for the teachers in Edgecombe County Schools. That is one of the key points in competing for talent across school districts. I'm sure, I'm not telling anybody anything new, especially the teachers. You know this. You are paid on a salary scale, the same salary scale across the state, depending on your degree and how many years you've been teaching. The difference is how much supplement the local unit is able to pay. Sometimes districts pay 2%. There are some districts that pay 15% plus. We were able to appropriate a little over $650,000 of additional funds this year to raise the local supplement in Edgecombe Schools from 7% to 10%. So now that's just 1% short of 1 percentage point short of the supplement that's being paid in Nash County Schools. Just to sort of put that in perspective, for a teacher that's making $40,000 a year, that's a difference of $400 a year. The difference between 10% and 11% supplement. That's a difference of about $33 per month. Now, nobody hates to give up $33, but I just want to make the point we have worked very hard to try to close that gap. Because I know Dr. Bryan and the school board that you want and you need these teachers to come into your district and want them to be interested in this expedited application process to be able to work here and help continue to teach these students. So it was just important that I highlight that point. We're also exploring other funding opportunities to meet facility needs in these 4 school buildings that we will inherit, our school system will inherit, as well as needs that will arise as the result of the transition, in particular, of high school kids. So that's something that we're continuing to explore. And we're also making investments to remove barriers to post-secondary education. We want to, take a long view of education from not just through high school, but beyond high school. And so we're very proud that we've worked with our partners at Edgecombe Community College. Dr. McLeod is here tonight. Thank you, sir, for your hard work, you and your team and your board. We have invested some money to help create, to help hopefully bridge some funding gaps. You can go to the Community College website and see on their homepage of a new program that we were able to do together called the Edgecombe Works Promise Program, where Edgecombe County resident can get up to $1,000 to help fill some of those funding gaps that oftentimes will prevent a student from either starting, getting that certificate of training or that 2-year degree that they need, or it prevents them from finishing. So we're proud of that. We're going to keep making that commitment. A few years ago, just after I became manager, at a retreat with our board, I asked them the question. I said, we have about a $75,000 budget, or $75 million budget a year. That's a lot of money, but we can't do everything with it. So if we can't do everything, what do we want to make sure that we do first? So I was asking for their priorities. And number one on their list was education. So they've made that commitment. They're sticking to that commitment. We're going to continue to do that through this process and beyond that process. So I think that's my last slide, I believe. And I'll be around if there are any other questions later that I can help to answer. But now I want to introduce Mr. Ronnie Sharp, who's the Director of Transition and Redesign.
Thank you. Outstanding job. Thank you. Don't you hate to follow a public speaker like Eric Evans, but don't you also love to follow a public speaker like Eric Evans at the same time? Let's give him a round of applause. He did a beautiful job of explaining the information that we need to know about in regards to the history of the funding pieces for this emerger. So, I'm going to piggyback a little bit on some of the things that you shared, Eric, because as of June 12, 2023, the North Carolina General Assembly 2023-37 Senate Bill 248 Written Plan of Transfer became a state statute. That simply means that we were required at that time to merge all of the students who live on the Edgecombe County side of Rocky Mountain into the Edgecombe County Public School System. What you see here are a couple of codes. These QR codes are designated for the last meeting that was held at the Rocky Mountain Event Center. And at that event center, we introduced a copy of the actual draft. And that actual draft looks like this. So if you would like to access and examine this draft a little more closely in more detail, feel free to exercise that option and scan that QR code on the left, and it will take you directly to that document. The document on the right, on the other hand, is an actual copy of the presentation from last Monday night's meeting. So if you'd like to know what was shared at that meeting, feel free to scan that code as well. School structures. One of the parents, I don't see her now, I think she was happy about what I shared with her because it appears that she left, or maybe she had another obligation and she was required to leave. But what happened was she was sitting on the end over there, her and her husband and her child. And she asked me, she said, Mr. Sharp, may I ask you a question? And I said, sure. She said to me, she said, Mr. Sharp, my child is a kindergarten student, and she is attending a school that she really, really loves, and she wants to continue to attend that school. And she asked the question, will she continue to be able to attend there? And I said, absolutely. And the reason why is because we heard you as a community. We heard the comments that you all shared at our community design meeting. We heard the comments that you shared on our interest surveys. We heard the comments that you shared in our empathy interviews. We heard the comments that you shared at our board meetings. And because we heard your concerns, we heard your cries, we decided, along with pending board approval, that we will keep the school structures and maintain those current school configurations for our 4 newly acquired Rocky Mount schools during the 24-25 school year and beyond the same. Now, if you look up to the left and down at the bottom, you will notice that these are the recommendations for those school structures. You will see that pre-kindergarten through 2nd grade will continue to attend Fairview. That's where the young lady's child attended school. D.S. Johnson, 3rd through 5th grade. Baskerville, kindergarten through 5th grade. And you will note that in parentheses you see pre-K pending licensure. That simply means that we are not allowed to actually implement a program by ourselves. We must adhere to state policy, and state policy for the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction says that we have to get that licensure before we're able to implement another preschool program at another school site. Parker will continue to encompass 6th through 8th grades. 9th grade student center will be held at either the Rocky Mount Industrial Incubator or North Edgecombe High School. High school students. Our 9th grade students will have a unique educational experience at either the Edgecombe County Industrial Incubator or North Edgecombe High School. Students can also apply to Edge Academy, great programs, and our wonderful health science program at the Edgecombe Early College High School. Now, our 9th grade students will continue to participate, and they will participate in athletics at North Edgecombe High School. Students entering 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th grades will have the opportunity to continue as legacy students. Now, legacy students simply means that those are students who are in the 10th through the 12th grade who currently attend Nash County Public Schools. Those students will be able to continue to attend there through graduation. 10th through 12th grade students who elect to come to ECPS will attend North Edgecombe High School or Edge Academy. Those are 9th and 10th grade students. Staffing. Dr. Bryan mentioned just briefly that our school system, we have an invitational spirit here at our school system, and we really would like to be able to employ lots of our Nash County teachers and staff members. So we are inviting you all to continue to serve with us in our Edgecombe community. And as you can see highlighted earlier, we have Dr. Pittman and also Ms. Barnes in the back there who will welcome you and guide you through that expedited process. That expedited application and acceptance process will be utilized for our staff who are currently serving at our 4 schools: Fairview Elementary, Baskerville Elementary, D.S. Johnson Elementary, and Parker Middle School. ECPS will hold a series of talent recruitment events in the future and tonight in the surrounding areas to attract administrators, teachers, and other school personnel. In fact, we hosted one at our previous community outreach meeting that was held at D.S. Johnson 1 month ago, approximately 1 month ago. So, how do you join ECPS? How do you join the team? Well, you can visit our recruitment table in the back, and those wonderful ladies will help you through that process. Or you can contact Denisha Barnes, our Director of Talent Recruitment and Development, for additional information. Our transfer of assets. Items purchased with state funds. Let's review that real quickly. ECPS and Nash County Public Schools are working collaboratively to transfer these items into ECPS. Now, it's a very complicated process, but at this point, I'm going to just give a quick shout out to Nash County Public Schools and their transition team, their administrative unit, et cetera, who work very closely with us to make sure that that happened in as seamless a process as possible, under the conditions that this is something that's truly unique, this demerger and this merger. This is something that we've never seen before. So items purchased with these federal funds, ECPS and Nash County Public Schools are working in collaboration with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and the U.S. Department of Education to determine the reasonable fair value of those assets and how ECPS will acquire those selected assets. Technology. There's a parent who had a question, and she asked Dr. Bryan this question about technology. She was really, really concerned. And the reason why I know she was concerned was because he mentioned it to us on several different occasions. He made sure that it was firmly entrenched in our minds and in our psyche so that we will remember to share it with you all. What he simply said was this: parents are concerned whether or not those kids will have the identical or even better technological processes that are in place for those youngsters to be able to succeed inside and outside the classroom, because we know that they take many of those units home in the afternoon. So we want to just be here to assure you all, to calm you all down, as we did with that parent who's sitting on the end over there earlier tonight, who left because she got the question answered that she wanted answered, that we're going to make sure our youngsters have what they need in order to be successful. Transportation. Edgecombe County Public Schools will receive buses from the Nash County Public School system. Now, what has happened is our fleet of buses are 65 passenger buses. The Nash County fleet of buses are 72 passenger buses. Therein lies a little bit of a problem, because we can only house and service 65 passenger buses. So, Nash County Public Schools has worked closely with us, along with the Department of Public Instruction. We met with them in Raleigh on a Thursday, and they assured us that they will work closely and collaboratively with us to co-join with local units who actually have access to 65 passenger buses. But what we really wanted to assure you all about was, we heard through the grapevine that Nash County Schools was going to give us all old buses. That's not accurate, okay? That trade-in will occur, that trade and that transfer will occur. We will make sure that our youngsters are riding in quality buses, right, that are sufficient to take care of our needs. Academic programs. This is the pivot right here. This is one of the reasons why we're here tonight. This is going to be very exciting. This part of the presentation is a little bit monotonous, a little bit boring, not as exciting, but trust me, when we get to this academic piece, you all are going to be so excited. So get ready, because we are in the process of creating design teams with our teachers, our parents, our guardians, our students, and all of our community members to build signature learning experiences for our grades spanning from pre-K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9th grade and beyond. If you would like to join hands with us in making that happen, making that an efficient and effective process for our youngsters, to inspire them, let's get involved. Scan that QR code. It'll take you to a site where you can join us. So please join us. We welcome you. Community involvement. Well, the first time I met Dr. Bryan, he was standing near the fence at the Tarboro High School football game. And when I walked over, I'm kind of old anyway, right? So I just walked over and just introduced myself, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Ronnie," he said, "the process is just beginning and the work is just beginning." He said, and one of those pieces that I want us to focus on is that community involvement piece. And I said, "Dr. Bryan, we shall do that. We shall comply." And noting that ECPS is committed to transparency and continuous communication with our community as we transition our students and families into our district, what that simply means is this. Throughout this entire process since I've been here in Edgecombe County Public Schools, we have met with community design teams. Washington was a member of that design team, so the reason why I mentioned her name is because we reached across the aisle way back before anyone knew we were reaching across the aisle to make sure that we were inclusive. We had Thomas L. Walker Jr. and others, and I'm just naming those because those are Nash County residents, right? And so what we wanted to do was configure a comprehensive group of folk who represented all of our constituency, right? And we were able to do so in that design process through our monthly community meetings, our Superintendent Parent Advisory Council meeting, which began last week, our Signature Learning Experience Design Teams, which you'll hear more about in just a few minutes, our alignment of our school calendars. And just speaking real briefly about that, we heard Dr. Farrell when Dr. Farrell mentioned that conceivably we could have a student who would attend Edgecombe County Public Schools, maybe in middle or elementary school, and then a high school student who would perhaps be attending one of the schools that's situated in Nash County. And that would perhaps conceivably create a problem. And so what we wanted to do was to address that. So what we did was work closely with Nash County in order to align our calendars so that they were juxtaposed the same way, and so that parents, we could eliminate and maybe minimize as many of those disruptions as possible. We also wanted to create a welcome package for our families. Now, that welcome packet is in the works right now, and we're going to share a little bit more about that when the lovely and talented Jessica Parker will present her next piece. Our merger plan and transition timeline, this just basically, it just illustrates a little bit about our timeline and the busy month that we're having moving forward. The major things to remember are on November 15th, that joint written plan of transfer is to be submitted to the North Carolina State Board of Education, and Mr. Evans mentioned that a little bit earlier. The other piece is that they are working on, when I say they, I'm talking about the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners, the Nash County Board of Commissioners, Edgecombe County Board of Education, Nash County Board of Education. They're working conjointly on creating that plan and making sure that it is a cohesive plan, and they will approve that at their regular November meeting. And I looked earlier today, I know that Nash's is on the first Monday. I'm not sure exactly when ours are, but we will be implementing those processes. We will also hold additional parent advisory committee meetings at every one of our schools. Every one of our schools, meaning all of our schools that are East Rocky Mountain schools, and also all of our Edgecombe County schools that we currently also are working with. On the 29th, our next community outreach meeting, merger outreach meeting will occur at Parker Middle School from 5:30 to 7 o'clock, and we ask you to come out and join with us. Now, for the question and answer period, you will notice in the back there, there's Dr. Myrick back there, and also Ms. Parker, and I think we have a couple more volunteers who are going to help carry around the mic. I think Ms. Holt maybe might help us with that part. So if you have questions or concerns, all we ask you to do is just raise your hand, and a group of us will try to respond to all of your inquiry. And when we can't respond, we'll ask our superintendent. So, yes ma'am. We're going to bring the microphone to you. So those persons who maybe are not comfortable sharing on the microphone, we have some cards, and you can write yours on those cards. We'll read those from those cards for you, just to work with you.
My question is, the legacy kids that will be attending the high school, will they have transportation to get to school that's on the Nash County side?
The legacy students on the Nash County side?
Well, we stay on Edgecombe, and he'll be
Okay, you mean who attend on the Nash County side? Yes.
So the bus will still be picking them up?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't know if my question is 149, but I have a grandson that would normally belong to West Edgecombe next year. But we live in Berkshire, so I'm trying to find out where he had the options to go to Parker or whatever middle school we have up here on the Edgecombe County side.
Yes, ma'am. I believe the answer to that question is that your grandson would be assigned to the school that is in that school zone where he's located.
Oh yeah, I feel like that white night.
That's correct, but you could also apply as part of the transfer process as well, if you want to have a different school.
question is for the incubator situation. Is there a number of students that you have an expectation who will attend there to qualify as that being a reasonable site? Because if the majority of the students want to go elsewhere, you know, what would be the most reasonable alternative?
Okay, just so I make sure I understand your question. First of all, you're asking how many students first, right? So there are approximately 120 students who are rising ninth graders. And I think the next question that you're asking is, will they be placed at the incubator site? I'm sorry?
A point of clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose they decide to go to the, is it West Edgecombe?
North Edgecombe.
Okay, North Edgecombe
Yes,
School. Like if the majority, like if 90%. So what we're going to the regular school. Would that influence some dynamics in the decision-making for placement, you know, especially for staff and et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. So in terms of the incubator site, we are actually, that decision regarding where those kids will be attending is a decision that's pending right now, pending board approval. So we are in the decision-making process as far as that's concerned. But we know that with regards to athletics, that our students, regardless of whether they're going to be attending the incubator site or whether they're going to be attending North Edgecombe, they're going to participate in athletics at North Edgecombe High School. And all of the other requisite programs that will be associated with them attending a regular high school. Those will happen at North Edgecombe High School. Does that help?
When y'all was saying that there was a new school in Red Oak that was built, will the budget allow for upgrades at the schools that are older?
You mean in
Edgecombe County that are older that could use a little upgrade of pride? Because we proud of our school because it's been here for a long time. My daughter went to this school.
Sure.
I went to Parker, so these schools have been here for a long time.
Yes.
Can we get an upgrade?
Yes. Yes.
Your word?
So this is how I respond to that. When you're responding to a question in many instances, right, what you want to do is look at a sample size, right, to see what has occurred in the past, yes? So what I've seen in the past in terms of what Edgecombe County Public Schools has offered is I constantly see us upgrading our facilities and making sure that our HR VAC systems are working and that we're improving in every area. So the answer to your question is yes, we will continue to improve our schools, including our East Rocky Mountain schools. Yes, ma'am.
Second question.
Yes, ma'am.
We know 1 can do 1,000. What can the community do to help with some of these things so it don't feel like y'all are holding the load? We don't want y'all to hold the load. The majority, yeah,
Yes.
but what can we do to pitch in and help kind of,
Yes.
we love these schools. These are our pride. This is our pride.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're trying to keep our pride.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't want to take from Madison County side, but we want Edgecombe side to shine too.
Yes.
Because it don't shine.
Yes.
We need some polish.
It starts with you all being present here at this meeting tonight and at the previous meeting at Fairview and also at D.S. Johnson. And hopefully we'll bring the same energy that we've got in here tonight to Parker in about a month when we meet on the 29th of November. And I wasn't patronizing you at all. I really do love the question that you're asking because what we need is what we noticed was that we didn't have the kind of participation from our parents and from some of our staff members that we desired, right? And so when we see this auditorium almost filled with people, it gives us joy, great joy, because it gives us hope. It energizes us. It makes us want to work even harder to make sure our youngsters have what they need. So we need you to continue to do what you're doing right now. Just stay involved, right? Stay committed. Support our children. Support our programs. Support our processes. Scan that QR code and become involved. Come to our parent advisory council meetings that our superintendent is hosting, right? And get involved. Get involved. Again, get involved, right? And oh, thank you. She said, stay involved.
I'm not even from Edgecombe County. I am from Nash County.
So that's what we need from our parents. We know that in terms of resources, we don't have the highest tax base and all that, but that's okay. We can bring our energy, we can bring our love, we can bring our intellect. If we got all of us working together, if we can do anything. I believe that. I'm a product of Edgecombe County, a proud product, Tarboro, North Carolina. Anything can happen if you believe. So we believe.
Like my mama said, don't worry about what the next person do, you do what you do.
Amen. Okay. Seeing no other questions, I am going to. Oh, one more question?
I was just checking.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to transition this part of the program over to the lovely and talented. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't count it. Thank you, Dr. Mark.
I'm taking the lovely and talented place of Ms. Swanson.
Dr. Michael Meyer.
We had a last minute switch up, so good evening, everyone. So I'm Michael Meyer, Deputy Superintendent and Chief Academic Officer for Edgecombe County Public Schools, and my colleague back there, Ms. Swanson, is Assistant Superintendent for Innovation, and we're going to get started. So we've had a couple of questions about just some of the things that we do in Edgecombe County to really support our students. And so we're going to start tonight, and our district is broken up in sort of three ways the way we like to look at it right now. We have the north side, we have Tarboro, and then we have the south side, the southwest edge of the county. So I'm going to start with North Edgecombe. So we have 3 schools in the North Edgecombe area: Coker Wimberley, which is an elementary school, Phillips Middle, and North Edgecombe High School. And so what you're seeing here is just some of the things that our students are involved in on a daily basis, through weekend activities as well as evening activities. A couple of the things, and I'm going to read these. I typically don't like to read, but the writing is sort of small and in the pictures. So at Coker Wimberley, the STEM and Makerspace, students use snap circuits and other tech tools to solve real-world problems. And they have some of these activities on Saturdays for parents to come out, as well as they do these activities during the summer for their students. Phillips Middle School students explore their passions in a variety of innovative classes and clubs. And you will hear us talk a lot about passions in Edgecombe County because we believe that in addition to the reading and writing, we should allow our students to pursue their passions. And so you may hear me talk about that a couple of times throughout the presentation this evening. And finally, on our north side, we have North Edgecombe High School Learning Showcases. This is something the school started last year, which is a great way. It's like a parent, it's almost like a student-led parent conference, but basically what happens, the students invite their parents out, they invite the community out, and they do this twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring, and they talk about the things that they learn. But I do want to say, just be careful when you go because you may be roped into actually participating. I went and I learned a couple of Spanish phrases and understood some things about Spanish that I didn't know from the students. I got to experience some art projects and so forth, so that's very fun for the parents. Again, we started last year, but it has become very popular in the community. Next, we have Southwest Edgecombe Feeder Pattern. Our schools in the southwest portion of our county include Carver Elementary, Bullock, and South Edgecombe Middle. So at Carver Elementary School, we are doing project-based learning, introducing our 5th graders to emergency weather kits is the picture that you see here. And then at Bullock, partnership with Southwest, and that's one of our Southwest football players that's out reading with one of our elementary students and supporting them through the emotional support program that they have at the school. And then, of course, at South Edgecombe Middle School, 100% of the students take an academic support class and receive personalized remediation and/or enrichment. 100%, that means the students that are excelling, as well as the students who are struggling, are assigned to the class, and that's intentional. And then each one of those classes is staffed with a certified teacher, and they provide the exact structures and services that those students need to be successful. Continuing on the southwest side, we have West Edgecombe Middle School, and they are part of the Project Desire with NC State. And the students create a variety of products like solar powered remote control cars, and tour local businesses to learn more about STEM careers. One of the other things that the students do at West Edgecombe that's become very popular is an evening with Santa. It's a STEM activity where parents get to come out, bring the children, meet Santa Claus, as well as do STEM activities. Kids love it, parents love it too. Southwest Edgecombe High School, redesigned with Transcend. And this Transcend is an organization that we partner with to try to look at how we restructure our high schools, because we don't want our students to just have a high school experience. We want them to have a high school experience that they will remember for a lifetime, again, pursuing those passions that they are so interested in. Another thing I want to highlight about Southwest High School, we have a welding lab at Southwest High School, and we partner closely with the community college, where those students are able to work on their certifications and then move right over to community college and eventually into a trade. Now we're in the Tarboro-Princeville area. Princeville Elementary School, Coding Panthers. Our students, as you can see, that's State Superintendent Catherine Truitt sharing with our elementary students at Princeville. They were invited last year to go to the department and show off what they are learning through STEM. So we were happy and excited about that. Our students at Stocks Elementary School, one book, and then all fifth graders read the same book at home with their families. But to add to that, central office staff also record themselves reading various chapters in the book. And what we try to do when we read them as animated as we possibly can, so that the students will also have an opportunity to not only read the book in class, but also hear us reading it. So with the central office staff, and then he get community support to come in and read as well. But those are recorded, and the students get access to those recordings. W.A. Patillo, we started a theater arts program there last year. This is the students performing in their first Black History program. I was able to talk to the teacher earlier this month, and they will have a full production later this year. I think they are shooting for December, around December, the 1st of December for that production. Martin Millennium Academy, Ignite Tutoring with TFA. So Martin Millennium is also unique in that it is a K-8 Spanish immersion school. Students who are in the Spanish immersion classroom, they receive 90% of their instruction in Spanish starting in kindergarten. So if students are interested in that program, it goes from kindergarten through 8th grade. Edge Early College, Washington, D.C. trips resumes. So students at Edge Academy, Edgecombe Early College, take a trip to Washington, D.C. each year that they are at the school. They take different trips. And so this one is showing our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, because typically it starts with the freshman class. But because of COVID, everyone got to go on the trip last year. Tarboro High Power Block, again, this is an opportunity for students to explore their passions, and we have power blocks at each one of our high schools. And this is a time where students are either going to one of their passions or they're going to a class for extra support with some of the classes that they are having. And so just moving on, looking at some of our district-wide initiatives that are unique not only to just a single school, but here's a partner. This school opened this year, Edge Academy of Health Sciences, and this is located on the campus of Edgecombe Community College in Rocky Mount. Students will get a unique learning experience. This is a quick 1-minute video by our Director of Secondary Education.
Attention, all Edgecombe County Schools, 8th graders and 9th graders. My name is Dr. Robert Batts, and I serve as your Director of Secondary Education. I am excited to offer you another option for your high school experience. Beginning in fall 2023, we will be opening the Edge Academy of Health Sciences. This new early college will focus on health science pathways that will ultimately lead to careers in the medical field. Though this will be an early college focused on rigorous instruction through the use of project-based learning and passion projects, students will be able to fully take advantage of the high school experience. Students at this new school will be able to participate in signature high school experiences like athletics, prom, field trips, clubs at the school and college level, and much, much more. If you are chosen to be in this first cohort of students, you will also be privileged with being on the planning committee to make lasting decisions for the school, like choosing the school mascot, the school colors, the logo, and the motto. You'll be able to put your stamp on the school. So if you're looking for a non-traditional high school setting with traditional high school experiences, the Edge Academy of Health Sciences may be the place for you. So if you are a current 8th or 9th grader, interested in a career in the health sciences field, and are up for the challenge of a rigorous instructional model, please see your guidance counselor for an application or for more information.
Someone said you had a question.
So is that on the Rocky Mount campus? It is?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's sensational.
Yes, ma'am.
I have all to take care of that.
Yeah, yes, it is located on the campus of Rocky Mount, the ECC campus in Rocky Mount. And we did have students from Nash County who were interested last year because we went around to all of the schools that have our students in those schools, and so those students were able to apply. And again, we are accepting students in 9th and 10th grade, and I have talked to the principal, and depending on the student's circumstances and situation, we will consider students who are in the 11th grade. So that will be on an individual basis. So that's something that the students would definitely need to meet and talk with the principal about, because there are certain criteria that they would need to have. But we're very excited about that. One of the things I will say about Edge Academy, in the video it was mentioned about the school logo. They're in the process now of selecting the school logo. So that's really big for a school where students get to choose their own colors and their logo. So what you saw there is actually not the school logo or colors. Those are things that we put together as a district when we started marketing the school. But the students are going to actually choose what everything looks like. So just kind of quickly running through some other STEM activities that we have. As you can see, I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. Our STEM family nights, I talked briefly about one that was at at West Edgecombe Middle School. But also if you look down, Rock by Rock Elementary, it's a project-based learning experience for our students in our elementary schools. And so they have the opportunity to participate in that curriculum. And then we are also partnered with UNC, Grand Challenge units. That's something that we started this year with our students, and it's proven to be very successful with our students. Esports is a huge thing. I have a teenager myself. He loves the game. We have esports at each one of our high schools, and also something I did not highlight at Southwest is the Spark Lab, which is an innovative lab where students get to take up to 60 modules around STEM careers and STEM activities. And so that's open to any student at Southwest High School, as well as any student in Edgecombe County that would like to participate. Post-secondary preparation, we've talked about passions. We have started internships. North Edgecombe has implemented internships at their school, but you can just see a couple of the other things here. Students credentialed in Adobe InDesign, Adobe Photoshop, CompTIA IT, and there are many more that we did not list on the screen. And one of the pieces that we started last year, we partnered with, is it Gateway? I can never think of the name of it. Is it Gateway? Carolina's Gateway Partnership. We partnered with the community college on that one, where our students who graduated last year were able to sit through and get 2 certifications at the end of the school year. once they graduated, they also received a stipend for just sitting through that program and participating. We had about 30 students that started the process, and we had about 9 students who actually completed, got their stipend. So I'm sure that we're going to have even more excitement this year because their friends are going to tell them, yeah, they actually did give you money for sitting for 40, they had to sit for about 40 hours in order to get that, but those certifications paid off for them. And of course, I cannot, again, forget to just remind everyone to join our team. For more information, we have Ms. Barnes and Dr. Pittman in the back. So please, before you leave, if you are a current employee of Nash County, please make sure that you see those ladies tonight before you leave. And I'm going to turn it over now to you.
Thank you. Everything was exciting.
Let's give it up for Dr. Meyer. Give him a round of applause. He did great. You didn't know, I didn't tell him until this morning that he was going to be doing that, right? My name is Jessica Parker. I am a product of Nash County Public Schools. I went to Cooper's Elementary, Southern Nash Middle, and Nash Central High School where I graduated, okay? My middle school assistant principal's in the back, but I'm not gonna tell you who he is. Also, I have worked in Nash County and in Edgecombe County Public Schools. I've worked at, in Nash County particularly, I got my start at Baskerville Elementary School where Ms. Hopkins was the assistant principal there in Clinton. I got my start out there. I've also taught at Hubbard Elementary School, and I taught at Rocky Mount Middle School, as well as was an instructional coach at Rocky Mount Middle School. In Edgecombe County, I've been an elementary and middle school teacher. I've been an instructional coach. I've been an assistant principal, a dean of students, and a school designer. All of that to say, all of those things, what I love to do most is to design learning experiences that are community-driven for our kids, okay? And so that is what I am as a Genius Fellow for Edgecombe County Public Schools. I'm over merger community engagement. I'm gonna be out there, y'all gonna see me, we're gonna talk. If you wanna have any questions, I'll come to the cookout, don't worry about it. And then also, I'm here to talk about school design. So those school design teams, those learning experience design teams we've been talking about, that's what it means. So if you wanna be a part of that, which I hope you do, I'm looking at you, Ms. Williams, I want you to join it so that we can begin to design our futures and reimagine the futures for our kids in Edgecombe County. Y'all hear me okay? All right. So now, in Edgecombe County, we believe in the design thinking process as a way to ensure equity and access for all. So design thinking is a set of steps that you can take that when you have any challenge, any problem, to generate multiple solutions and try those out. So we like to teach our students the design thinking process, our leaders as well, so that way they can achieve our vision, okay? And our vision is that all ECPS scholars will graduate prepared to design their own futures, navigate change, okay? And make the world a better place. That's what we want for every kid in Edgecombe County. And what I know about kids in Edgecombe County is they're already doing it, okay? We have so many famous people from Edgecombe County that are changing the world. We're just gonna continue that trend. And so today, I forgot my clicker. I got excited. So today we're gonna start a bit of that design process with you, and that's why you see these posters around. We're gonna get up and talk in a bit. But I wanna talk to you about the steps we're going to be taking today, all right, which include empathize and define. That is where we are at. And I also want you guys to notice our equity commitment, okay? So in Edgecombe, we are serious about equity, and we want to make sure that in Edgecombe County Public Schools, it is a place where opportunities are no longer predicted by social, cultural, or economic factors. So that's why every high school went through a redesign process, and all of these activities are going on at every school for every child so they can explore their purpose, explore their passions, experience deep learning, set goals, make those goals, and then, you know, become an adult that changes the world, okay? So today we're gonna work together to do some empathy because we wanna get to know you. We want you all to get to know us so that we can begin to define the solutions we wanna see for our students as they come into our schools next year, 2024 school year. Everybody with me? All right now. Okay, so the keys to success to do this tonight, I promise you I'm not gonna ask you to do a lot. You're gonna love what I ask you to do, you're gonna love it, okay? But in order to be a dynamite designer, oh yeah, alliteration, I did that. We want to think about yes and. It's a process where we want to get as many ideas as possible. So normally, we'll say no, but you can try this. right? It still seems helpful, right? But it kind of squashes a little bit of the creativity. So when we're generating ideas today, if someone says one that's like cool, and then you have another idea that's like even cooler, then how you respond is you would just say, yes, and you could also da-da-da-da-da, okay? So remember the yes and, all right, to continue to keep that creativity going. And then this one is the most important one, but it's the hardest one for me, right? Because I love learning, I love teaching, I love kids, and I just love it, right? And I want to design the best learning experiences that I would love, but it ain't about me. That's what my mama tells me a lot. Anyway, it's not about me, it's about our user, and our user right now are our students. What do they need in order to be successful 22nd century adults globally, right? So, as we start talking about the design process today, I just want to give you a quick example in the real world of how it's happening. So we all know General Electric. They were tasked, they said, hey, we need an MRI machine that is pediatric friendly, that fits kids, because we need to scan their brains and bodies and figure out what they need. So General Electric created this, all right? It's smaller, it fits the kids, it has a bed for them. They were like, check, we did it, boom, okay? They put it in all the hospitals. The children walk in the room to get the MRI. They're terrified of it. They don't want to get in the machine. They don't know what's supposed to happen. They run out of the room. And so as a result, we're not able to get the information on their brains and their bodies to be able to help them, right? That was actually what we were trying to do. So General Electric went back to the drawing board and they thought about the design process. They used empathy and they talked to children, they talked to parents, they talked to the nurses that have to strap the children down in the MRI machine and figure out, what do you think they need to see? How do they need to feel in order to be in this place so that we can get information on their brains and bodies so we can help them stay healthy, okay? So by going through that design process, this is what they created, right? That's right, that's it right there, right? Okay. So if you're looking at this, it has the same function, okay? I still have a bay from the body to go in, and I gotta go in this machine, and you're gonna get information on my brain and my body, right? Just like the essential function of education is to inform and inspire our students to change our community, okay? You with me? So as in our design process in Edgecombe County, what we work on is how can we put a little bit of this into what we're already doing. And what I want you to notice is, it wasn't just a technical change, right? They had used creativity. There's someone painted this, someone created this, right? They also, if you look up here, there's a timer. They talked to a kid probably, and he said, I don't know how long I gotta be in there. That's why I start fidgeting so I won't get out. So if I'm laying on my back, I can look up and know how much longer I have. So there's multiple changes through empathy and through actually defining what it is we want to do. We didn't want a pediatric MRI machine. We wanted an MRI machine that children weren't afraid of so we could get the data on their brains and their bodies. So everybody understand why I love design thinking and the design process? Yes. All right, now y'all ready to do it today? Okay, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Y'all remember that TV show? Okay. Okay, so we're about to get up, we're about to start talking, and we're going to be in the community, because I heard you when you said you all are a proud community, and it's absolutely why I took this job, because I love this community. They are proud, and these schools have some traditions, and they have some passion that is just unmatchable. Okay, unmatchable, okay? Because I know about the Jazzy Jaguar step team, and when I was at Cooper's Elementary School with Bulldog, we didn't have one. Okay, I'm done. So, now, what I want you guys to think about are the things inside of your child's school, okay, that your school could start doing to better support student learning and build a sense of belonging, okay? So in Edgecombe, we know that belonging and attachment is the first step to learning. You just can't have the school and think the kid is gonna learn. The kid has to feel like they belong, like they have that proud culture. Once they have that, then we can start learning, okay? So I want you to think about these 3 questions. Start, stop, and continue. What do you think your child's school can start doing? What do you think your child's school could stop doing that hinders student learning, hinders their feeling of like they belong? And then this is one I can't wait to see and read and learn more about, is what suggestions do you have for what your child's school can continue doing? Because what we do know at Edgecombe County is that these schools are doing some amazing things. It's just they're some of the best kept secrets in Rocky Mount. And so if you guys can tell us what we're already doing inside of these schools that are working, we're gonna continue what's working, and we're gonna also consider those other ideas. Y'all ready to think? Share some ideas? Yeah! All right, so it's idea time, y'all. I used to teach 1st grade, 3rd grade, and 6th grade, so it don't matter, I have my own party up here. So, what I want you to do is, okay, when I say go, I learned that from Edgecombe County Public Schools. When I say go, okay, around the room there's like sets of posters that say start, stop, continue, okay? There's also little caddies that have sticky notes and Edgecombe County Public Schools ink pens. And you can keep the ink pen, that's for you, because we love you, okay? So then, what I want you to do is when you get to any of your groups, okay, grab an ink pen, grab a sticky note, and write one idea per sticky note, okay? Share your ideas with your community that is here. Begin to develop and stay involved in those ideas of what you want to start, stop, and continue doing. So as you guys talk and work together, add those sticky notes to the chart, okay? And then what our team is going to do, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, is we're going to analyze those everything that is put on the chart. We're going to come and create some themes of what everyone here said that they wanted. And then those are going to influence our decisions about what happens inside of the classrooms for our kids, okay? So, start, stop, and, oh man, y'all good, man. 100. Okay, so, all right, when I say go, which I'm about to say it, just stand up, grab a caddy, grab an ink pen, and please add your thoughts and ideas. We'll have about 10 minutes to do this. Yes, okay. Here is one right here by our Assistant Superintendent, Aaron Swanson. Here we have another set over here. Start, stop. I think the continue may have failed, but it's on its way. Right over here by the Baskerville sign. We also have one over here, and then one in the back. So choose whichever one you feel, and the sticky notes and ink pens are right there. If you're ready, say ready. If you're ready, say ready. If you're ready, say, you are ready. She ready. We're going. All right, y'all, take off. We got 2 minutes.
right now.